Joining us now, someone who's been watching this with more than a casual interest because of the points he made last week, it's our good friend, the president of the Catholic League, Bill Donohue, who Skypes in from New York, New York. So, Bill, you made it very clear earlier this week, and I guess as this was going on, the drama was unfolding last week in Paris. You condemned the attack, but you pointed out that with rights of freedom of speech come responsibilities. Do you want to encapsulate what you had to say and how that squares with what the Pope had to say yesterday?
Sure. First of all, I think I need to sue the Pope for plagiarism. He took exactly what I said.
Yeah, we got to be careful, Bill. Some of the bloggers are going to put that up as the headline if they
I know. People need to get a deep breath and to have a sense of humor, too. Look, the only people who are truly responsible here are these murdering Muslims. Let's make that point clear. And I'm sure the Pope understands that as well. Now, when you look at any event, you look at the totality of the event. And all I'm saying here is this. The people who are the cartoonists did not deserve this. On the other hand, had they exercised restraint and didn't engage in toilet speech, filthy, obscene statements, and portrayals of the prophet, they wouldn't be dead today. Something has to be learned about this. Now, the Pope is making a quip. If you see the video, he's laughing, as is Gaspari. He's kind of, he raises his fist, kind of feigning he's going to punch him. What he's simply saying is this: when people needlessly and persistently insult people, don't act like a Casablanca-type virgin and expect that people are going to be horrified and may trigger a strong response.
Bill, many media pundits are not happy with what the Pope said. What's your particular reaction?
I think it's humorlessness. If you look at the video as opposed to looking at the transcript, you'll understand he's making a joke, but he's also making an important point. When you look, if I go into a bar and I insult everybody in a neighborhood bar and tell them what a bunch of jerks they are, should I act shocked at that if they come and charge at me? Now, look, no one is justifying what these Muslims did. But when the founder of Charlie Hebdo, not Bill Donohue or the Pope, the founder came out yesterday and he blamed Charb, the guy who's killed tragically and needlessly, he blamed him for dragging the others to death because he was a stubborn blockhead and he provoked the Muslims. Well, I think some lessons need to be learned.
And mindful of that, how best to describe it? We've heard in our nation, yes, we have freedom of speech, but that freedom does not allow us to shout fire in a crowded theater when there is no fire. So
that's right.
How do we balance rights and responsibilities, Bill?
Well, you used the right verb, balancing. And the problem when I have a lot of conservatives as well as liberals is nobody wants to balance anything. You got these conservatives saying, listen, I hate the Muslims so much, you can't do anything so offensive that it won't bother me. Then you got the liberals saying, I got total freedom of speech. I can say and do whatever I want. People, you can't do this. In a free society, we have all kinds of exceptions to freedom of speech. You can't engage in libel, slander, copyright infringement, false advertising, treasonous speech, harassing phone calls. I could go right down the list. There are always some important exceptions. Now, what the Pope is saying is that morally, it's not proper to insult people, even if it's legal. And I've been saying the exact same thing for decades. So I don't know why this should come as breaking news to so many conservatives as well as liberals.
Now, Bill, Charlie Hebdo has satired many faiths other than Islam, including Catholicism. Bottom line, should we expect publications like this to self-censor themselves?
I think everybody self-censors. I go on TV all the time, and if I were to drop the F word or the N word, they would bleep me. That's self-censorship. Here's my answer, Francesca. If it's just a matter of a depiction of Muhammad and it's done inoffensively, go ahead and put it out there. Why? You can't just be intimidated by these people. I am simply calling attention to one genre or expression of these cartoons, the ones that I believe hit below the belt. Now, people can have an honest disagreement with me or with you as to where to draw the line. The problem is we have in the Western world an awful lot of people who say we don't want to draw a line at all. You can't get too vulgar and obscene when it comes to Muhammad. I think we should respect Muslims and go after the guys who are trying to kill us. I don't think that that's such an unremarkable conclusion.
And yet there was a self-censorship after the fact. We had Tom Tradup of Salem Radio Networks with us. He's a member of the AP Advisory Board on the AP Style book. The Associated Press, of course, said withheld those images from Charlie Hebdo, yet sadly the despicable artwork by Andres Serrano, the vulgar interpretations of the crucifix submerged in urine, that was part of the image package still available from the Associated Press. Is there a double standard that in fact is more hostile toward Christianity than Islam by these folks who claim they champion the First Amendment?
Boy, you hit it right on the head there, JD. Of course there is. In the New York Times, to give you one example, prominent newspaper, they republished, now you couldn't see the worst part of it, but they did republish that portrait of our Blessed Mother with elephant dung and pictures of anuses and vaginas on it. They put it in the same newspaper article where they objected to the Danish cartoons, which they wouldn't show. I have more respect for people like Jeff Zucker over at CNN, who says, I'm not going to publish these cartoons because I'm afraid it could endanger my staff. At least that's a principal reason. The New York Times says, we don't publish portraits of religion which are gratuitous and insulting. Oh, really? Boy, you make a big exception when it comes to Christians.
Bill Donohue, president of the Catholic League, in your own reserved and shy way, Bill. You drive those points home. Great to have you here on America's Forum, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesca. Thank you.
And as we say goodbye to Bill Donohue, I think of Fred Friendly, the former CBS News producer, who then went to the Ford Foundation, who is credited with saying, just because you have the right to say something doesn't necessarily make it right. We reserve the right to return, and we will do so on America's Forum following this Newsmax Now update.